that's on or not. Yeah, I don't see the timer going here.
Did it automatically shut off after Dean left?
I don't know. Okay, moving on. There we go. All right, great. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next on the agenda is just the review of the democratic rules and orders for the meeting. So I threw a few notes together on how we'll conduct the meeting, so in case there's any questions. And I'll leave a copy up here, and we can provide copies for the file too. For the efficient management of business, this board will adhere to the following procedure. The purpose of the board is the committee is charged to evaluate and report back to the town council regarding the location, design, and building of a new police station that meets the needs of the police department and will serve the residents of the town of Foster. The station shall be constructed in order to provide a safe, efficient, and cost-effective building that will consider both current and future needs of the town of Foster. And that's the mission statement from the town council that was given to us verbatim. This meeting will be conducted based on the Democratic Rules of Order, 9th edition. This meeting will require a quorum of 4 regular members to commence. This meeting will follow the agenda posted on the Secretary of State website. This board will accept and welcome public comment only at the appropriate time. All comments and questions by any member of the public must be directed to the chair. There will be no discussion or crosstalk in the audience. Any member of the public who wishes to speak must sign in to be recognized in order when comments are open. Any organized group shall choose a spokesperson to assure your comments are clear, on point, and duly recorded. No member of the public may speak on the same subject more than once until all members of the public have had the opportunity to speak. Members of the public will be allowed a reasonable time to speak. All comments and questions must be on topic and relative to the matter at hand. At no time will any unruly or threatening comments be tolerated. After all signed members of the public have spoken, the chair will recognize any other member of the public who wishes to speak. At the final meeting, the board will draft a document with our findings and the supporting facts directed to the town council. In the event the board does not unanimously agree on a single option, then a simple vote will be taken to show how many members support each option. At the final meeting, the document, the findings, will be prepared after the final public comment section. Okay. Next will be roll call. That would be you, Brendan. Yes, up there. No?
This is I'm trying to say.
Okay. That's great. Gordy Brayton.
Here.
Anthony Renzi.
Here.
Chief Zeal.
Here.
Brendan Marr.
Here.
Joe Walsh. Here. And, I love the name escapes me now again. That's the third time that's happened.
Steve.
John Restivo, that's right.
Yeah.
Last time you were out there. Okay, correspondence.
Tom Walden.
Tom Walden. Well, you put yourself on that side of the table. Tom Walden. Correspondence and communications, we have none that I'm aware of. Anybody else? Okay. So, new business, update from Chief Zeal on the Hopkinton plans for discussion and or action.
What we did after the meeting, I contacted Hopkinton Police. They agreed to provide their plans to us. Then I reached out to the architect who provided the plans and got a release from them so we could use them or look at them, make copies, provide them for quote purposes for, I guess just, again, just to use the plans. Myself and Gordy Brayton and Tom Walden went down today and took a tour of that building. And I also provided copies. And I know Brendan is working, he can provide input on that as far as just looking to see exactly what that cost of that building would cost in today's numbers. And that's all I have. I'll see how you.
Yeah, we'll get to Brendan. Well, next on the agenda is the board review of the Hopkinton plan. Obviously, we're not making any decisions on it tonight. Is there any particular questions that anybody comes to mind that you'd like to ask? Chief Zeal would probably be the most familiar with them.
Yeah, and again, we went down again today, I've studied the plans, there are some changes, that, some eliminations, some moving, but like I said in the first meeting, if we were to, with some of those changes, if we were to approve this plan, the town was approved this plan, this building and this design, again, with some minor changes, would meet the needs of our current police department and for the foreseeable future, looking at, current manning and any additional manning, different changes as far as standards, laws, record keeping, evidentiary storage, provide a safe environment for our employees, both officers and dispatchers, and for the town of Foster.
Right. And the purpose of gaining this plan, for anybody who wasn't here last time, is really just to have a rough idea on the cost of what that building would cost in this town today. Doesn't mean this would be the building, it's a really good representation of the size and the type of building that we need. Just really to try to gain a comparison between this building and what would be added on to the town hall, which is the other plan. So it doesn't necessarily mean that this has, in the end, would be the building. It just means that square footage and that all seems to kind of fit the bill, so.
And it's a closest comparison that we have, other than.
Well, and it could be exact in the end, there's a plan drawn, that may go that way, but ultimately, the initial thought, or the initial review was 10,000 square feet or something like that, and that obviously raised some questions. This is more down to 5,600 square foot, which seems to be.
I think it's actually 6,300.
63, okay. So that gets us a little bit lower than we were obviously. Thanks. Anybody have any other questions? John or Steve? They're going to keep repeating it.
Actually, I did, how many officers does this plan accommodate?
That accommodates 15 officers.
15. And is 15 the maximum amount of accommodate, or is?
I don't, no, there's, just walking around it 3 times now, there's definitely room for, growth within the building.
Well, you stuffed 10 over there, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Just so everyone else is clear too, we talked kind of before, the tower that you're seeing here wouldn't necessarily be part of our new scope,
No, the tower's already in place.
nor would the dumpster enclosure.
Okay. If nobody has any more questions from that. C. I don't know. Okay, update from myself on the town of Situate. So after the last meeting, I sent an email over to the town council president in Situate, Mr. Collins, I believe it was. And hearing no response, I gave him a call shortly before the town council meeting after I'd been notified it was on their agenda to discuss it. I'm not sure whether it was on their agenda from my email or if it was already on their agenda, so I'm not exactly sure how that happens. So I wanted to let him know I'd be there in case there were any questions that he might have, and while I was there, because I was kind of prompting me by email, and he thought that was a great idea. I got there, it was a kind of combative meeting with the road closures, so there was a lot of people who were very upset, so I think they just wanted to get out of there in the end, and they ended up tabling it. I did talk to the town council president after that to just find out if there had been any interest. And he says at some point in time, they're going to hire a consultant to look into them building a police station. And he said the town's coming back to review road closures at that next meeting, I guess. Says they're going to discuss it with the town of Foster when they're there. I'm like, okay. So well, I don't know anybody from the building, but he was going to be there. He says, well, he says that's what we're going to do. So that was pretty much how it ended. So they didn't give me any indication that they had any plans at this point to build a police station. It sounds like they're hiring a consultant to look into possibly building one, but that's as far as, according to the town council president. Now, there could be other discussion amongst the board members, but he wasn't aware of it. He did say that the chief was not certainly in favor of it, as we already knew. So That's the only update I have at this point from there, and I would say there won't be another update from Situate until after the 22nd, you said?
Yeah, I think it's the 22nd, 7 o'clock at Situate High.
So. And if they're doing road closures again that night, you better pack a lunch. It's not good. So, that's where we're at with that. So, Brenda Murray, you have given the plans for an RFP for somebody, or?
Yeah, no, I got the plans from the chief at the end of last week. I was able to scan them in and get them back to him. I contacted a friend of mine who owns a construction company in Massachusetts who does larger scale commercial and civic work. And he's willing to, do the work, as far as a quick order of magnitude estimate on these plans in today's dollars for us. I don't believe it will cost us anything. It might cost me 2 pints of beer, but that's something I will eat on behalf of the town's taxpayers.
You're such a giver.
I give. So what I'm doing right now, because it's not really a true representation to give him these plans and just hand it to him, I'm going through the drawings myself and updating it basically to bring this building into compliance with the town of Foster, as well as, really a quick overview of the modern building code, the current building code, because a lot of things have changed in the last 12 or 13 years, so that we get a more close representation of what it will cost. Some specific examples of that would be that in Hopkinton, the frost depth is 4 feet, and Foster is 4'6", so our foundations will be, 10% more expensive. We'll have to do a little more cutting to get it. The snow load in Hopkinton is 30 pounds per square foot, up here it's 35 pounds per square foot. Just little things like that, just so that we can kind of get a little more true and accurate feel for what the building will be. I expect to be done with that in the next day or so. And I will get it to him before the weekend, and probably by the next meeting, we'll have at least a number to work with. I'm gonna ask him to give something a little formal, just so that it's not me saying, oh, the number was, whatever. But that's where we stand. So we have someone lined up to do it. I can certainly, if anyone else has anyone they wanna share the plan with, or two, that's fine. It can't hurt to have a couple numbers, but I think his will be close enough.
Yeah, what we're looking to do anyway is just to really get an idea so we can figure out if it's even the direction to go. So,
Sure.
At that point, if it looks like it is a direction to go, and it looks like this makes some sense,
Yep.
then I would say we send it out to 5 people and get some pretty decent numbers for the town council to work with.
Yep.
Might make some sense.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, whatever it comes back with will be, it should be, you would think, within 10%
Yeah.
or so of anyone else who comes
Is he
up.
gonna go on the assumption that this is a freestanding building?
Yes.
So he's gonna include well and septic in his guess?
I did not tell him to do that, but I can certainly do that. I should, if that's the direction we're going, yeah.
I fully believe that the well and septic were
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah,
big enough. Right?
the well supports us now.
Right.
Again, the idea, my idea, and others, if located there, that the well, could be, again, tied into it, so that'd be a savings. And also, depending, again, I've heard 2 different opinions now. The septic system, everybody says it's big enough, but does it need to be tied into the current town hall to tie into that one, or, if it needs to be a standalone? But again, from everybody that I talked to, the building, the septic system would be, big enough to support.
Right, well, that's something we could also figure out in time. If we have, if we have a price on this is, $2 million, and you got a price to do the town hall, and that's $2 million, and we say the septic is the only issue, well, then, town council can decide if that's the way to go. Yeah, exactly.
So we can feel that, that's a good point.
We're really just trying to get us in to have some kind of comparison. So if it looks ridiculous between the two, then the decision could be made either way, what I would say.
What about the highway doing all the excavations? Is that a premature discussion for this?
That's a good question, man. I don't know how he would incorporate that into there, other than,
I mean, does the highway have the equipment to do
Yes.
it? They got excavators and stuff?
I've got them a bulldozer.
Yeah, but bulldozers in a bigger hole.
Right.
And I mean, my question is do you have people on an excavator that understand how to dig a foundation?
Well, I think just.
Let's leave the DPW to cut trees.
Yeah, I mean, I think you want to
No,
have.
I'm just saying, the same initial site work,
Right.
again, foundations and everything else.
Yeah,
Actually, that
oh,
is-
you mean cutting trees and
Yeah.
cutting line and
There's a
stuff,
lot,
yeah.
there's a lot of site work.
Yeah, I think
Right.
that's-
Yeah.
My preference would be to kind of keep it as simple as possible, and then maybe if we continue down this road, we kind of look at ways to peel out some of that cost, or make it more economical.
I think, once we have a number on this and the other way, the site work and all that can be added or deducted, however
Yeah.
it works out after that. We really need to have a good idea whether either option is good or bad compared to each other. so.
We need a starting point.
Yeah, I just,
Right,
if
and
I
at that
give too
point,
many
then we can
caveats,
decide.
it might make it
Yeah.
hard to get an actual first number, you know?
Right.
If I start adding
Yeah,
too many catches.
market price and consideration.
Good points. Well, I think the site work is a huge concern too, I mean, because there's a big, if we go right next to the building, it's a lot of excavation.
It's like we're, no matter how you do it.
Yeah, that's
A
it.
lot of site
Yeah, regardless of where it is, this is Foster.
work. Easily done anyway.
I think that's one of the bigger costs you'll see, that might be a difference between this, because that looked like a relatively flat site where this was, and here. We'll see.
But they, and then wasn't there another site that they wanted to try to fill out of here to use somewhere else or something? With
I guess that's developed in the area.
No kind of
that
thought.
project is in.
So that may save a different site, somebody, whatever they plan to do. Okay, anybody have any questions for Brendan? Welcome. You're short of coffee, by the way, but it's okay.
I know. Every meeting is 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Okay, we get double coffees next time. All right, update on site visits, times, contact numbers. I know that some people have seen Hopkinton, and so I don't know, did you have a contact list of the chief and numbers that we could have in case I wanted to go, or should we do that through you?
Yeah, I mean, again, the chief, again, welcomed us again today, and so if anybody wants to go down and,
Yeah, I mean, I would certainly like to take a trip down, and obviously the only thing to keep in mind is there's no discussion about the project and blah, 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 you're just looking at it so it doesn't violate the open meetings rule.
What do you guys think of that building?
I thought it was a very good comparison. They work on shoestring budget down in the community. They talk about moving one contract over there, planning for the move the store. The police chief was very good taking us around. He showed us the problems, things that don't work well. Very simple fixes. Looked like to me that all the room sizes were ample. We can move a few things around, make it work better for us. His suggestions that he had about what to do different is the same thing in the line. Tom had looked at it when we were walking around. I think it was pretty good building compared to, or we could compare to them.
Is it a brick building or the floor?
It's wood other than the jail cell block.
The outside is wood, regular cedar shingles, stuff like that.
Actually, it's a composite siding.
Oh, cool.
Not
No
really.
maintenance?
Not really.
Yeah.
It needs maintenance.
That's not to tell you the whole show.
Yeah, three.
Did you have any comments on
There
that?
could have been installation problems in the way it was brought very well. Well, it's just the Cheap product, side. it's the product, the product has issues. They use it, just, don't not.
Well, we can choose whatever we want for the outside too, so.
It looks like they saved money on the outside of the building. You know, they had us bring the budget down from the initial bids, and I think that's what they saved on the outside.
Value engineering, that's where it comes in.
Well, fortunately, we got the right guy in the right place that knows what's gonna work, what is it?
It's true.
It's true. Has anybody, been in the town hall? I mean, other than gonna pay your taxes?
Working on today.
I did also. What did you think about it?
Well,
You're more experienced in this than me.
the town hall works well, the way it is. As far as the ADA stuff, I don't think we're looking at a big, I don't think we're looking much to comply with that. I pulled the plans up tonight, like at home, and I think one bathroom was just laid out later that caused it not to be compliant. So one bathroom's ready to go, but one downstairs is. I don't think it's as big a deal as anything else.
So what, add this onto that?
As far as adding on,
Where's the advantage? If this is one floor, that's 3 floors there.
well, only one floor is used for, basically use one floor of the town hall.
Did you go on all the other floors? You go on the 3rd floor, in the basement?
Oh, I didn't go on the third floor, but I've been many times.
get into the elevator if we go into that, so.
I did some research on that too. You're a little off, but we won't know until we get there. It's over $200,000 to put an elevator in a building like that. Home elevator, $25,000 to $30,000, depending on how many floors, electric elevator. So that would be, of course, at the elevator, but when I walked around the building and had a tour from the town clerk, I mean, I don't see how, and I was all for it. Somebody would have to show me on paper how you can put a police station attached to that and make it work and make it cost effective. I mean, the changes you'd have to make and get where you have to be to make everybody happy, we'd have to find out that number too.
Right.
I mean, I can make some enemies here. I mean, I think if we're going through a bond, I think, and if there was a freestanding building or whatever, and we go to a bond, I think we should find a little bit more money and straighten out that town hall, because really, I was kind of, yeah, all right, it's, you know, we all go there, there's a tax assessor's office, everybody's all in one room, I mean, there is no, I mean, I don't know, you know.
It's not
like we're-
not an efficient workspace, for sure.
You know, that's what the impression I had, we go upstairs, is, okay, they bought some racks and they're trying to put some files together in some sort of, you know, the basement is the basement, I mean, the basement was, other than the new Beckett boiler I saw there,
Well, we can,
you know.
we can, let the town council building committee work on that. So I think what we'll do is, really ultimately the question is with the other plan we had to incorporate into the town hall, I think we get some numbers on that, some numbers on this, and then we can say, like I said, there's a lot of things to be done, but we may be surprised, we may say, hey, geez, it's a lot cheaper than we thought.
Could be, I have a vision, like, it's hard to vision the police station onto that, you know, it's gonna work, and where you can move people and so.
And what's like hybrid, right, because you're
I
gonna
don't think you would be moving people at all, I think you'd have a separate, your building would just be connected to the police station, and totally, they won't floor space.
But if he's gonna connect it, then what's the
What's the
advantage?
advantage?
Besides a common elevator, if you're gonna try to
Common
do
elevator,
that.
septic system, bringing that building up to standing, up to current codes.
Yeah.
The septic system would be a very big number.
So the septic system, we believe, is not big enough then.
I believe the septic, we don't know that, I think the septic system is big enough.
Oh, okay.
What everybody's saying is right.
Right.
It could be very expensive to build a standalone building.
Right.
Do
So
something.
to do septic, yeah.
Who connected, if we're close enough?
I don't know, that we don't, probably don't know that, yeah, we gotta, that's something we got to figure out. Yeah, it's, yeah.
It's all numbers. It's all
Exactly.
numbers, so it's numbers.
Yeah,
It's gonna come down to numbers, I mean, I don't, to save on the septic system, to attach the building to that building, just to save on the septic system.
we pay for all of it,
I cut corners someplace else and stay away from the building.
right?
For that.
So I think it's once this, you know, typically, like I said, it's always cheaper to build up than out, but once you add ADA into the picture, it's not, because that's when the elevator and that kind of stuff comes in. And I don't doubt that there are, I know there's, I mean, it's not like 25 or 30 grand, but my question is why in every single building that we put them in, I work in all sorts of buildings, not just town hall.
That one, the one I'm saying, the 25,000, 30,000, that's in a home.
Right, no, I know exactly what you mean, but I'm saying, I don't, besides seeing that occasionally in a church, I know exactly what you mean.
Right.
You know, we don't see them, so I'm guessing there's more to it than just,
250.
yeah,
Is a number that I
yeah,
would.
yeah. Well, I know the one, my church down in Killeen is 300 grand, and the one we put, now keep in mind, they're both existing buildings that you're putting it in, it's not a new building, so there's your own, you know, there's other walls that have to be built to support it, mechanical rooms that didn't exist. And the one down the hall was, I don't know, it was 380,000, something like that, so they're.
Let me ask you this, if this is freestanding and attaching it to the town hall, why do we need an elevator?
We don't.
You don't, no, if you took this building,
Yeah.
but that's not what the other plan is, the other plan was multiple stories attached to the
Utilizing the
town.
second floor.
That's how it was, so that's how that plan was originally
Yeah,
drawn.
if you were to add on the addition, it could still be a single story.
And then the only question comes is, why would you add on? You know, does it make sense You know, if the septic connection makes sense, then that's something. But once we get a price of this, if you're plugging it into that building or putting it over here, with the exception of the septic, other than it's really no difference. Maybe some site work and stuff that may change, but other than that, but you're gonna, wherever you go, it's site work.
And the other thing, the only other advantage to adding on might be the space you save. You make 2 standalone buildings, it takes up more problem. Let's put no space between the 2 buildings.
Well, then, but again, then you have security issues and, you know, one shot, wipe out everything issues and.
Yeah, I'm thinking in the end, you gotta figure out what the most cost-effective and efficient way to do it is, that also incorporates safety, right? This was the
We need
mission
to look
statement
at, we need
said.
to look at the space we have to work in.
Right.
Related to that, this parking for this building, do you know, does that serve any other building?
No.
Doesn't? Do you think that, kind of a little over 30 spaces, do you think that you need that much parking?
I want to say we have 22 now out here, and that's not enough. You know, but if we were to incorporate, do whatever, you know, and again, there's some ideas floating around for that parking lot, but it would be public parking, and then, you know, what I envision, you know, with what's approved through the capital budget as far as the in-town lot, and if, again, either in addition or whatever, you know, incorporate the police parking behind, you know, the actual structure.
All that parking would fit over there, I don't know.
Yeah, there's tons of room.
All right, so back to the original E. Anybody who wants to get on the Hopkinton, just contact the
Yeah,
chief.
and again, I was gonna try to set up, West Greenwich, but they've been busy the last couple of days. And if people wanna go up and look at Gloucester, you know, that's another
I've
option.
been in West Orange a number of times, it doesn't really seem to be a.
Well, they just remodeled, the basement, you know, but again, you know, that was the existing space that they had, and, they were able to take over the entire basement and add space upstairs.
Okay. Well, I think that just, again, because we're in the baseline pricing end of this thing, is let's all get a handle on this, and then see if it's ridiculous to go this way, or if it makes sense to go this way. And then we can start to say, let's look at this and this and this, and if that makes sense.
One thing about this building is, I don't think it's gonna fly in this neighborhood, historic district, so we'll have to make some alterations to the looks of the building. We should probably have a different roof system on it.
What's the roof on it?
It's just a 5-pitch hip roof.
Okay.
Right.
Well, the middle is taller, and then it's like a shed roof
I think,
all around it.
I think it's
like
still a 5-pitch, it just has a shed roof off the side to give it that hip look. I think you're gonna have to probably add a little bit into that to meet, match everything else.
Okay.
Which could be 50,000.
Yeah, who would make that decision? Is it historic? I mean, is there a committee that actually decides that, or just preservation?
A lot of the architects would try and incorporate that into their design, just looking at the neighboring structures and things too, whether or not there's a historic precedent to do it or not.
Right, the architect would do that, but I feel there might be some kind of requirement or something.
I don't know for a fact, but I was told that when we built the town hall, this whole area is a historic district, and that had to go to the state to get approved.
Okay, so stay.
Keep this in a
Yeah,
historic
that's
district.
fine, just so it's
The
on.
plan,
I
I
don't know
can
the
check that
details.
for you, make sure if it's legitimate, or just sometimes
Yes,
they
sir.
consider it.
Right, okay.
No, it's on the National Historical Register.
Right, so keep it there, you can do things.
Okay, yeah, that's fine, as long as we know what we gotta do.
You can go to the fire station.
Hmm?
You can go to the fire station, I'll call.
You improve the looks of their
Okay. We kind of did our general board discussion of the project, but we can discuss it more if there's anything that anybody has a concern for at this point. I believe we're waiting for Brendan's gonna work on enhancing the plan to meet the current code. We're gonna get the quotations, or not quotation, but the budget number, if you will, on what that would cost there. What do we have on the other plan for pricing? Have we done anything with that? I forget. On the original plan, was that
The preliminary.
we had a number on
Yeah,
there.
4.2.
That was the original 4.2, okay. So, But that was also at 10,000 square feet, right?
10,000 square feet, that also just is like kind of attached, it's not really incorporated.
Right, well, and,
And,
yeah,
Right.
I can't remember the exact figures, but I want to say it was approaching 2,000 square feet just of hallway space connecting and stairwells.
How
and
much spaces you have in your whole building now. So, well, I guess we could kind of take a square footage figure on that and get a rough idea of what we would. But, you know, we could, I think we'll start with getting the number on here, and then we can kind of get a little bit better idea. All right, so we know we may have some historic issues, we know there may be some septic issues if we don't tie in. So historic issues either way, whether we tie into the town hall or if we do it separate standalone building. We know we have some site work issues, but we can work on that later on after we get some pricing. Anybody who wants to take a tour down to Hopkinton can check with the chief, which I'll probably get together with you probably at the beginning of the week. Take a trip down there and take a look.
I'll join you on that one.
I think you really should walk also through the town hall. Like I.
Oh, definitely.
Every nook and cranny,
Mm.
all the corners, the wet basement, where they got things, I think that's key.
Yep. I'll get over there probably Monday and I'll take a
You know, I
full
mean,
tour.
I don't know, from the outside it looks one way,
Mm.
you start walking around, it looks another way. I don't think it's as efficient as it should be. Other town halls I've been in, I think they could use some help in that town hall. If this is gonna get floated to a bond and we don't attach it, maybe we should add a little bit there and kind of like help that place out a little bit. I mean, we gotta stop being in Bayberry.
Yeah, well, we can, and that's something as we get closer here, we can certainly look at, and I think it makes, it's probably some logic to that.
As we start to figure out the structure of that final report that we deliver, maybe we include something in there that suggests that
If the people,
the town.
if we're gonna tax it, we're gonna tax people, we're gonna get taxed. If I'm gonna get taxed, if it's gonna be a bond issue, there's gonna be money raised there, and we're gonna get taxed, let's get more than him in the office. You know,
Yeah.
it's just kinda like, I mean, that's the way I look at it.
No,
It's a little
it
tiny
makes
stuff.
sense. Makes sense.
You know, maybe when we get your numbers back, they can be less than we think. And we can add a little something to it, you know, and that'll all be the town council and the naysayers and the voters and everybody else to it, so.
They're the same, I think. Tony, can you remember the consent, is anybody on there? Okay, so, no one has signed in for public comment, so I'm going to just call anybody from the public who has any comment.
Gordon Rogers, Town Council. I would request that we provide documents for the people in the audience also, like the prints, and also you sent an email, I'd like a copy of the email that was sent to the Situate. The letter that was sent through them through an email is public information also.
Okay, so we'll get copies and we'll have them, we'll put them on file at the town council, town hall, they can make copies for you. We can provide copies of things for the next meeting. Would you be comfortable with a dozen?
Sure.
Yeah, just one thing,
Yes.
if we release the blueprints, they're property of somebody else's.
Okay,
So we'd have to,
okay, so
we do have, the board has a,
the board has the rights to them, but that's it. So,
We're not for public.
how do we handle that?
Well, we had a discussion about that. It's sort of copyrighted material, but they said they wouldn't mind us using it for that purpose, for a demonstration purpose. So the board can have it, and if the board has it, the public has to be able to see it.
That we have to see it, that they
Yeah,
entitled to a copy.
I don't-
of this.
I wouldn't want to, unless we go back again, I wouldn't want to say you could just hand them out.
Right,
Perhaps we could put one on a board here while we're speaking about it. Because I know even if they're allowing us to use it for a purpose, you know, maybe as an incentive to come back to them sometime later, that's still, it's their work product, it's material.
Yeah, at this point too in the conversation, I mean, we're not necessarily looking at room layouts, I mean, we're looking at just a box.
exactly.
I wonder if these plans are already available to the public by virtue
They could
of
be,
Hopkinton having used them?
they could be public
I wonder
for
if
their
they,
people.
Well, how about this, are they available on their tax website, I wonder? Because they've got a pretty, if I remember correctly, they have a pretty efficient website.
We could put a call into the town clerk or
Yeah.
someone and see if they may be very well be.
Because what might
Say
make
already
more
available.
sense is if we make a FOIA request to them, get what they have, put it on file here, and then, if we can do that without.
And they might be redacted ones, they might be, I don't know how an engineer might redact
Yeah.
to show but not give specifics of their work.
And I don't even know if there's even more to it than that. Is it, you know, is it wise to give out the layout of the police station?
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna bring up.
Yeah.
I looked for the.
That's an exception to the open meetings, actually, schools, police stations.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that, for that, this particular document, I mean, I don't think there's probably any problem of physical square footage, here's the square, here's that, but the internal components probably of where the chief's office is, where the cells are, probably not a really good idea to have out.
You may find a redacted copy if they use something
Okay.
to,
All right, well,
you know, here's the rules.
yeah, we'll look into that deeper to figure out what the best, safest way to do it. All right. Yeah. And then all the other documents, of course, that don't have anything to do with that are fine. But we'll figure it out.
Do we want to address the use of the police station, the old police
No,
station?
I'm gonna bring that up, let's just wait.
Okay. Yes.
Denise DeFranco, Town Council.
Yes.
I just have a question. I wasn't at the last meeting, but I'm hearing that you're going to wait to go visit West Greenwich? Or is that something on the back burner? I know the chief and I went to West Greenwich and we also went to Hopkinton. I thought West Greenwich was a nice idea. I don't know how that works into your planning.
The only challenge that we have with going anywhere else is we don't necessarily have a plan, right? So what we're trying to do is trying to take a plan of a building that we have some pretty concrete ideas on. Again, it doesn't mean that this would be the building at all, it represents the rough square footage of, say, amount of cells, same amount of offices, things like that, lineal foot of wall, right? So everything is kind of close to what you want, that we can actually get an accurate price on, or accurate estimate, of course. We have nothing with West Greenwich more than just saying, hey, this looks good. So if we say that when this is all said and done, that it looks like a standalone building makes more sense than doing something integrated with the town hall, then we can say, well, let's look at the other buildings now. Let's say that maybe we can get a plan drawn up like West Greenwich and get a price on that and those things, but all that costs, you know, a great deal of money, so.
So I'm not understanding completely.
Okay.
You're saying that if this comes in, that the numbers, the figures are good, then this is where we're going, we're not gonna look at other options? Okay.
No, what I'm saying is, if we get a price on this, and call it $2 million, and we already have a price on the town hall that's 4.2, but it's not representative of what is actually needed, it's way much larger in square footage than was actually, what the chief agrees would work for him. So if we can get a more accurate price on that at some point in time, then we can look at, it makes sense to be integrated with the town hall, or it doesn't make sense. Then we can say, does this building work out better, or would West Greenwich work out better, or would another one work out better, that we then can get pricing on them, and then you look at, okay, West Greenwich was $400,000 less than the Hopkinton building, and that makes sense. So it's not, we just got lucky that we have a plan that was built fairly recently, that we can get a rough idea. I mean, Gordy and I have been doing this for a long time, so we've got a pretty good idea on where these things would be anyway, but this way it can all be very clear and easy to document and demonstrable to anybody who wants to look at it.
And I can speak on West Greenwich real quick. West Greenwich utilized space that they had
Right.
for the police department. You know, and the way the direction of the addition or the preliminary plans, you know, the idea is what does human services go if we relocate her? Where does finance go if we take away all that? And then you still have the security concerns, the cost of remodeling, the cost of upgrading.
I just wanna make sure that it's something that's looked at.
Hasn't.
Oh, it absolutely will be looked at. I mean, unfortunately, we have a very short window of time to
Yes.
get a lot of stuff done,
Yes.
which is a challenge. And in the end, we're just gonna present our best, what we believe the best options are to the town council, and that may be get a price on West Greenwich, get a price on Hopkinton, get a price on this, And if we can actually get that done, but again, to have, when they incorporated parts of the town hall in West Greenwich, that means there was basically probably a floor plan for that. And there was a floor plan for the initial building, which they may or may not have. You know, is the town inclined to go hire an architect at $10,000, $15,000, whatever, to look at that building and price that now, before we've actually made the first steps to see if it's even a good way to go? You know, when we get done with deciding if it makes sense to even go in that direction, and the town council says, yeah, let's do that, let's get a price on that, let's have an architect draw it up, then we can certainly do that. I think it'd be premature to do that before we at least get pricing on what we already have, sort of available, that we don't really have to pay for. I think, I'm open to anybody's idea.
My thinking is with this set of plans we pick up, Richard, this tells us what we need, how we configure it. Yeah, we go look how other buildings configure, but we need what's in this building.
Right.
That's how we configure it, that's what we need, that's how much it's gonna cost us with this system.
Correct. I mean, I think,
It might not look like, it might not even look like this.
No, it looks like it would be anything.
but West Greenwich,
Here is what we need.
and West Greenwich designed their space for what they had, what was available. It doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, it's just like if you can't expand your foundation and you want to put an addition on your house and you put a dormer on your house. Kind of the same thing, it may not be the best way you want to do it, but it's your only option, so if you do it, so. Do it.
They utilize space they have.
Right, right. Again, and maybe in the end, once you're getting into multi-levels, that's when your challenges are going to come in to be the greatest. So, yes, sir.
Are plans for our town hall available?
For our town hall,
Yeah, somebody must know the square footage or other.
I'm sure the tax assessor does.
3,000 without the lobby, without that small lobby, is 3,456 square feet.
And what does that include? Both floors, not the basement, or?
Just the usable level that they use for the town clerk and tax collector. It does not include the basement.
So there's probably another
The
3,000
units.
upstairs, and then the basement is what?
It's the same amount upstairs and the same amount in the basement. Well, the basement has, under the big part where the town clerk is, really can't be used for anything because that's all utilities and storage.
So
And on
there's
these sections-
6,000 square feet over there.
Yeah.
Is there still a set of plans available for that?
I think I got it. Yeah, well, I can't find, I thought I had a set of as-built plans. I have a set of plans with the original design was, which is close, other than the buildings are set angles with bigger lobby.
We do have a set of plans.
The as-built set? Yes. Like the two angles.
Is there a chance somebody can get a copy of this?
Yeah, they're in Connecticut right now.
So am I.
But you're here.
I can look, I can find
No, I contacted DRA, the architect that did the preliminary plans, he's returning them. So,
Okay.
you know,
it. To answer your question, if you use both floors and the basement that's being used right now, you got 8,200 feet.
How much is actually in use right now? The 3,000 you said for the main floor?
Land storage and utilities.
Yeah, I mean, the upstairs storage, is finance, on the one side, and they're redoing the storage, and they're looking at office space on the other side.
Is there a full second floor?
I'm gonna say about 4,700 feet is probably used now.
Is there a full second floor, like headroom up there? Entire
Yeah, no, the second floor,
Fire alarmed and all.
the second floor is nice, okay? You go up, there's two big rooms on each side, and they're turning it, somewhere along the line, they sheet rock the studs. So it's pretty good, lighting up there is pretty good. Regular board floors that match the decor in Forster, natural wood, big space in the middle. And they're putting, speaking to the town clerk, they really could use the upstairs with a little money for what they need. Yeah, other than just putting files on a shelf,
Right.
a conference room or whatever they're gonna do. I mean, that should be in my tour, that should be used a little bit better than what it is, than trying to find 2,000 square feet out of that building to add to the police station. The basement, there's a good section of the human services downstairs.
1,200 feet.
Yeah, and that's like the best part of the building, is where she is.
I might be within 1,000 feet. I looked at the plans to be showing the second floor if the part of the town clerk.
You mentioned some storage upstairs. I mean, just offhand, aren't we gonna have an empty building? Right next to town hall?
No, we're giving that to the Historical Society and Ann Ryder, she's gonna take it.
I've been approached twice to serve on a library committee, a new building committee for the library. And Mrs. Mueller came in a few weeks ago talking about it. I kept saying no. She wanted to know if I'd go look at land with them. And I thought real quick, and not really quick because I've been thinking about this anyway. If we move the police station, that entire old police station becomes available. And the library has different funding than we have. So, if we would utilize that building for the library, use that for the Historical Society, we should be thinking about that now, where we put this building.
Well, it makes sense.
Because we want to be able to use whatever parking lots they want to use.
Sure.
I mean, why do this twice, why put this building in
Right.
one
Yeah, that's
spot?
one of the major issues is parking.
Right, which would make both those buildings accessible. So I'm throwing this in because I think we should be thinking about that.
Well, you always want to think about it because that adds equity to the initial job you're trying to do.
And-
I mean, you don't want to have an empty building if you have something to
We
do.
will love the idea of taking that building over and we want to restore that for a while.
Nice.
And it could be done because they have different requirements than the police station does.
Okay. Okay.
I think
I didn't go on
the
that.
key point there is parking too, like you don't like see a parking in this place.
No, it just
We'll make all the
is,
buildings accessible.
as far as the current town hall, lack of funds has been the issue as far as usability. I know there was talk at one time, I mean, this building is used constantly. And there was discussion at one time about, if there was a meeting space in town hall, even having a separate entrance or something like that. But again, it's always been funding. And it would see, if it was attached or even if somehow if you could roll some of that money and make the current town hall more efficient, or even use for the police records, part of that upstairs or something like that. It would be a huge boon to the town if that town hall could somehow, use some of that money.
Does that sound like she agreed with me?
Well,
That's what I heard.
No, I think you agree with me.
Well, I think in the end, if it ends up looking that it's economically viable to go to the town and to attach it and build it into the town, then all of those ideas make a lot of sense to start talking about. But if it's not, then that kind of falls outside the purview of what we're doing, right? So, I think that we could, again, the community room makes sense for the police station, and it makes sense for the town hall. And that's one thing that doesn't fit into this plan.
Well, and again, just looking at it, talking about it, different people, Lori, Tom, what they use their conference room for, they have different groups throughout the time. And, instead of putting it within the building, using a conference room, community room, to use that as a tie-in to the town hall.
Right.
And, that could be
Secure
utilized
storage
as,
and-
like council chambers, could be used by the Boy Scouts. It'd still be secure,
Right.
the police could still secure it, but it could still be signed out. Could be used as a training room, could be used as EMA, EOC.
That can all make sense, again, if that's the direction that we step.
that's what the savings were tying, another savings tying.
Right.
It would cost more, but you get a lot more. That's what-
Yeah, but that, those are great for the whole town, not just
Sure.
the police station. I mean, that's a great way to go. But we need a number on this before everybody
Can't go anywhere until we get
everybody
that.
freaks out. If this comes in a decent number, then we can say, okay, let's add a little bit more. Let's see if we can do something else here. But I think we're going in the right direction, getting a number, and then we can put other things out there.
Well, I think it also makes it more palatable, if in fact it goes that way. It makes it more palatable to some people where they say, oh, geez, now that's something I can use.
You're absolutely right. If that's just what I meant when I said, if my taxes are gonna go up, I want more than the police station. I'm not gonna use the police station, hopefully. Okay, I mean, unless the chief locks me up or something. But if my taxes are gonna go up, I want something for it.
Yeah, there might be something else that makes sense. So we'll look at that as I think what probably should happen is we should probably get a modified picture of the hall, the town hall tie-in back into a square footage that is more representative of what we're talking here. So we can get some pricing on that. Because right now, we really don't know. We can divide the square footage up a couple of square footage figure, but we all know that's not super accurate.
I just can't see how. My thought today, I just can't see how.
Well, and again,
But I'm not in that bracket, you know. Well, that's what I'm saying. You can't tell
Of course, they
fence.
also have the original plan, so I see what was intended for that.
Okay, okay.
I think the only way we can do it right and do
Police department within the building.
Right.
No, no,
Oh.
no.
There's a lot of security.
The building would have to stay the way it is.
Okay.
I was wondering if you were thinking that.
Yeah.
You're talking a standalone building that's coupled to the
Attached
town
by
hall.
a common room to the town hall.
To-
One idea, we have any idea.
Sure, that's, okay, I can see that.
Okay,
I
I was
thought you
trying to
said-
follow your conversation.
No, I thought, you
Well,
know.
ultimately, the comparison though that we're looking at, to start with baseline, is the original plan we had and this.
This
And-
plan and a connector.
And the connector.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna try to move some of the town hall people. and-
That was an option,
And fix
or
it this
is an
way,
option.
and then the police
Okay,
station
so-
could use for a second floor and add a little in the back. I'm like, you know.
So, and it probably doesn't make any sense, but the question is the original plan that was drawn that incorporated the town hall,
it's just an addition.
it was just an addition? Oh, I thought it incorporated part of it, the basement, so, no? Oh, okay. Was there any thought on that with the elevator that was to benefit the town hall? Or was that simply to support the,
This plan was built just to support those 3 floors with the idea of that it could be, the roof lines could be expanded later at a cost.
right?
That the one elevator could support
Yeah,
all 3 buildings, but
but was there some thought, I guess, not that could, but they said, hey, if we couple this to the town hall, we put an elevator there, we can get usable space that could meet ADA and the upper floor, was that in the thought process?
yes,
Okay.
the idea was to build one elevator that could support those 3, but again, it would take building roof lines, attaching
Right.
the 2 wings into one.
Well, and the question, and again, the question comes in is, do you build a multi-story police station that requires an elevator, which is probably not as safe, I'm guessing, in order to use an elevator at the town hall? I mean, you know, is it, you know,
And
Tail
then
wagging
security concerns.
well, that's a whole other issue, you can't be bringing,
You know, entrances,
Yeah, okay.
This thing was like twice the size of what you needed to, right? This-
well, and-
Well, there was a lot of lost space here, so ultimately, how much is of the actual police station, do we know what the square footage was in, we have a pull
Yeah,
that?
it might be in there.
Okay.
I thought we were saying 10,000 square feet.
But that included all that
And
lost
that
common
included-
area.
That included an unfinished room upstairs.
Well, in order to make the roof lines meet, they were gonna do that, right, so. And the town hall wouldn't have any need for any more of that space, so that doesn't fit there, so. All right, well, we're gonna look deeper into that, and see what the best way to go is.
No, you get a little bit half the town hall, big half, you need 5 stories.
But you need the extra storage,
I think timing.
yeah. Okay.
Did we talk to somebody from the library and see how serious they are about this, other than just my conversation?
I'm actually on that committee too, I mean,
Okay. She
yeah,
got,
they're working the same circuit.
she got
Okay.
very excited about that. I
Yeah.
brought that to her attention.
Well, they have a couple, I mean, that's probably outside the purview of this meeting, but I mean, they had issues, one of which was parking, one of which was ADA compliance. I think they kind of run into a lot of the same issues within the building.
We can't complain, it's a cheap parking.
Yeah, so I mean, those were just the big 2 for there.
Do they want to close the red library and use this one? Is that what they want to do, or make another one?
They want to build.
Yeah. So what would they do with the police station?
Well, I suggest then that they restore that building.
And turn it into a library?
Yeah, which is doable because they don't need the requirements of the police station. Like, they only need a basement. They'll need a computer.
And what would we do with the ribbon?
Turn over to the Starks.
Okay, so technically,
Preservation.
whatever, technically, that library would close and they would turn that one
There's
corner
two other libraries.
into this one. No, I know, I just didn't know if we were gonna have a fourth, or,
No.
I mean, that will obviously have some effect on the final outcome, certainly.
Especially in the parking lots, and the
Yeah.
layout of the property.
I think that's the big takeaway, is that any parking layout that we look at should really incorporate as many of these other buildings as possible, so we don't have paving.
Right. You can share-
Whatever direction
you
you're
can
going,
share
you
the
know?
expense
Yeah.
also.
There's obviously the
Share the
demands
flower,
aren't
share
necessarily
it.
concurrent, you know? So you can
Even if they're not gonna do it for 3 or 4 years. the plans-
Right.
Right.
It could be laid out to
think ahead.
enlarge the parking lot.
That's something, I mean, we could certainly reach out to them. You know, it doesn't really fall into what we're doing here,
but
but
that
it
ain't to do with
it would have an idea, it would
But it could have something to do with the project.
it could have idea with the cost of parking and cost of
And
things like
explain,
that.
you know,
It's good to keep on our minds, that
Yeah.
there's other
what they use that
All right.
police department for.
potential projects in play.
Paving and site work.
Yeah, it might make
Oh,
sense. It makes some
Yeah,
sense.
they want to chip in, I guess, right? A little bit,
For what?
chip in.
Can I ask a question?
Is that where my library donation goes? All right, yes, sir.
What was the actual cost of the Charleston? I know you got adjusted for time, but what was the actual cost of when it was built, and what was the actual cost of West Greenwich when they used existing space?
We had the conversation again with the chief, Chief Palmer, down in Washington, again today. He was unsure if it was 1.6 and they reduced it to 1.3, or it was 1.3 and they reduced it to 1. To this day.
And that's Hopkinton?
Yes, that's Hopkinton.
Do we know what West Greenwich cost when they used existing space?
No, they got a lot of money from, the trust, because they had flooding issues. And then they utilized what they had. They brought in, from the community, they had, people assist, help them build walls.
Do we know how big it was?
What's that?
How large is, we know how large Charleston, Hopkinton was. How large was West Greenwich? How big a new station did
It's
they?
small. I mean, they, because again, they utilized, the town of West Greenwich was not gonna talk building a new police station. They said no from the beginning.
Is their force bigger than yours, less than yours?
It's 12 numbers. They were not gonna build a police department, a new police department. They said utilize the space that you have. They built one cell. So again, small offices, they have ADA issues because the stairwells up and down. I don't know what those issues are. To go downstairs into the basement, into the operational section of the department, you have to go downstairs. They don't have elevators.
Are they insured by the trust also, like that? So they didn't give them any hassle about potential lawsuits or any of that stuff?
And again, they utilize
But they're doing
space.
it what?
They use
Certification. The certification.
Anyone else from the public who wishes to speak? Anything else from the board? We have our prime. We don't know what we're gonna do, so probably touring the town hall makes some sense. Even if we're gonna tie in and not utilize it, still makes some sense to see how that works. Well, I'll talk to the chief, we've been on a hockey tent if we wish, and working on enhancing the plans and getting the price. Other than that, we'll look deeper into the library, who has the most connections that you've done?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just still exploring what they're in a similar boat, that they have some compliance issue, a lot of compliance issues, and they're looking for money and looking for people who want to help solve all of these problems. So I don't know that there's much they're aware that we're doing stuff, they're aware that they're doing stuff. I don't think they're gonna be building anything next week or anything. I'm sure they would hope to be, but.
Well, the thing is, if the building becomes available to them, then it's certainly, might have some make it, so.
They might.
It helps you decide on what's gonna actually happen to those town buildings. That's a question, right? When people say, well, what are you gonna do now with that building and that building and that building?
It's a big.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You know, it's a good problem to have. I just feel like it's kind of outside of our.
It is, definitely, definitely. It just, I think in the end, when we're gonna prepare a document to give to the town council, they may or may not be privy to everything we're talking about here, even though we're pretty well represented.
Pretty good form.
Yes.
No, I just wanted to say, I know when the library was considering Simmons Crossing, there was a problem with their funding if they did not own the land that the building sat on. And that would probably be the same issue there, because that's town property. Unless you gave them the land, unless the town gave them the land that the building sits on. I'm not sure how that works, but they have a whole other set of criteria for
Well, I would
funding.
think that all would have to be with the town council.
Yeah, that's.
Unless you feel like
yeah.
talking about it, John.
No,
Okay,
I
town council,
I think the
this
more we
is-
talk about using that, the old police station and the library,
We're getting.
To get away from what we want to
Really,
be, I just think it is important to kind of keep it in the back of the mind, I think there'll be some timing things, so, yeah. I was,
For me, if it helps defray the cost of the building, I'm all for it. If not, then that's, go get another committee to do something else
yeah,
with it.
yeah, no, it would only be if it helps, that,
Exactly.
that's the only reason we would
Exactly.
even be discussing it, so, okay. All right, anything else? No one? Okay. Motion to adjourn would be in order. Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Can I ask when your next meeting is?
2 weeks, that would be, 16th?
Yeah.
June 16th. Yep, 6:30 PM. Don't you want to put that in? I'm just saying, you know.
I do 3 meetings a week, all at the same time, and my clock is,
6:30 for most of us.
and my clock is